featuring the NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars and the Morton Building's late models. You'll see Sprint Car stars, defending champion, the Big Cat, Brad Sweet, and 2019 Knoxville Nationals champion, David Gravel. And in late models, three-time Dirt Car National champion, the smooth operator, Bobby Pierce. Plus, the biggest name in dirt late model racing, nine-time national champion, the Voodoo Child, Scott Bloomquist. NASCAR stars Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell will be featured tonight, along with a pair of NHRA Funny Car World Champions, Cruz Pedregon and Ron Capps. It's the greatest show on dirt, virtually. Live on FS1.
Welcome to Wednesday Night iRacing on FS1. Tonight, it's the World of Outlaws. First up, the NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. We are at the virtual dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina, just off Interstate 85. And virtually, it is a spectacular night for racing. So good to have you with us. Welcome in, everybody, to our studio. And yes, we are doing this whole social distancing thing.
Boyer's ready to go dirt racing.
Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon, I'm Adam Alexander. I guess we didn't get to memo on the goggles, huh?
No, boys, we're going dirt racing. Anybody's been to a racetrack, you know it's going to get dirty. The drivers are going to be pulling tear off, and the fans are going to be cleaning their goggles. So I'm ready, boys. Let's do it.
Well, I guess the tone is set, and yes, we are ready to go. It's going to be one interesting evening. So the last couple of weekends, Jeff, we've been iRacing, but it's been NASCAR style. Tonight, we're hitting the dirt. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Adam, this is going to be a whole lot different. It's dirt night in America. I am so excited. This is where it has all started for so many, including myself in sprint cars. We're going to be throwing mud, sliding sideways, spinning tires, popping wheelies, and doing some big flips. It's going to be pretty wild.
Man, I tell you what, you nailed it, Jeff. Brings us back to our roots. The very beginning for both of us, we started on dirt, the sprint cars, the late models. Man, I'm a late model owner myself. I cannot wait to see the action tonight.
And we've got, both sides covered, as we said. I mean, Jeff's an old sprint car guy. Clint knows all about the late models. Tell me about the sprint cars that we're going to see first, Jeff.
Oh, my goodness. These things are rocket ships on 4 tires. Look at that huge wing on top that's going to be pushing these beasts down into the racetrack, into the dirt, keeping those wheels hooked up. You got 900-plus horsepower underneath the hood. These things are just absolutely amazing open-wheel cars, 1,400 pounds and 900-plus horsepower. You do the math. That is some serious speed. And, hey, like I said, this is where it all started for me. I mean, too bad they didn't have iRacing back in 1985 when I got my start in the sprint car. And I don't know, Boyer, I think I need a little angle in that wing.
Man, that is awesome. I mean, I think you have a leather helmet on. That was a long time ago. 13 years old, I drove a sprint car, and that's a handful at any age, let alone 13. So hats off to you, bud.
And I can't believe, Jeff, when you look at the virtual world, iRacing has made this look so real. This is the Pro Invitational race from earlier this week.
Sprint car is one of the most difficult types of race cars I've ever driven because the track is constantly changing on you, trying to find grip. I am amazed at these drivers and how realistic this looks and how realistic the conditions are. The track's constantly going to be changing. We're going to see slide jobs. We're going to see guys making mistakes just like that right there. And it is some of the best racing that you'll ever see. And by the way, did I say sprint racing? Yeah, that's right. Only going to be about 30, 35 laps.
What about the late model side of things, Clint?
All right, guys, these wings are for airplanes, man. If it's got a wing on it, it'll be in the air. All right, we're late model racing, wedge-type bodies, maximum downforce, huge horsepower, huge tires, a lot of separation in the rear end. The 4-link suspension, that's something that you'll see. These cars grab around the racetrack. They almost look like they're going to roll over. As you can see, that left rear hiking up like that, but that's where the aero is. Aero's king. Monday night was awesome. These boys are going to put on a show again tonight.
This is a green-white checker finish. That 96 is Mike McKinney, and he's someone to keep an eye on tonight, Clint.
He's absolutely one of my guys. I'm picking him to win this thing. He's on my list.
What's funny is there's 20 guys in this late model race, and at some point throughout the afternoon, Clint has picked every one of them to be the driver to beat tonight.
The list has definitely changed.
is the favorite. So you've met Jeff Gordon. You know Clint Boyer is here. Let's say hello to Kyle Larson, who's in the same rig that Clint was driving over the weekend when we did the iRacing NASCAR event. Kyle, I hope you have better luck than Clint did, because he was a disaster Sunday at Texas.
Hey, man. I can tell why he might be a disaster. There's a lot of stuff going on in this headset right now.
There's a lot of stuff going on in Boyer's head all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and then you throw Clint into the mix. I mean, there's no, it's no wonder why he runs a little bit bad in the NASCAR race.
So, Kyle, obviously, first and foremost, thank you for coming in the studio and doing this. It looks like to me, though, this quarantine hasn't been going good for you. Stenhouse, he's got the mullet going on, the shave, the racing stripes on the side. What's the deal with his mustache? Come on, man.
Well, I figured I'm running a late model tonight. I might as well look dirty like them guys do, too.
Hey, Kyle, you race everything with four wheels, and, you know, you're a big star in NASCAR, but you also, you know, have quite a sprint car career that you've had in the past to get you here. But talk to us. You're going to be doing the double tonight, sprint cars and late models. Tell us about the difference between doing it virtually.
It's tough. I've never driven a dirt late model before in real life, but on this game, the sprint cars are a handful. That's why I actually enjoy the late models a little bit better on here. There's a little more forgiving, easy to drive. You can run side by side and get into somebody a little bit easier, but they're both fun. You got to look for the grip, like you guys mentioned. The track's changing lap after lap. The track changes a little bit quicker in this game than it would in real life too. So that constantly makes us search around and a lot of fun. You'll see the line change quite a bit throughout this 35-lap race, and then especially on in the 50-lapper.
Well, we're happy you're here with us, and if you don't mind, we'll check in with you throughout the night, okay, Kyle?
Sounds good.
And we know Larson, he'll drive anything, but what about Ron Capps? I mean, here he is during his day job, right? 2016 NHRA Funny Car Champion. I didn't think you could transition from this to racing a sprint car on the iRacing side of things, but that's exactly what he's going to do. Ron is joining us now from his home in Carlsbad, California. Ron, thanks for being with us. And what made you turn your eye over to iRacing and doing this sprint car race, man? So we're having some audio issues with Ron, and that's unfortunate because he told some great stories earlier about racing.
We just practiced
here tonight. It's live, folks, and you will just have that. So when we come back, now we understand Ron is with us. Ron, thanks for being here. And when you go on live TV, don't hit the mute button on your mic, okay? That's very important. Why did you decide to race a sprint car in iRacing?
I got voices going all over this headset right now. Listen, this is fun to do, man. This is I've been involved with iRacing a long time, but this is a training tool for me. When that funny car with 11,000 horsepower smokes the tires and we got to pedal it, there's no better training than the dirt racing I've gotten to do. I've been out with Clint Boyer running around Missouri, racing dirt and getting in trouble many times, so I've learned a lot. These sprint cars are a little bit different. Get the race shake and bake with my teammate Brad Sweet with the Napa car, so it's going to be fun.
Ron, I've gotten a chance to race with you in dirt late models and Tony Stewart's Prelude race there at Eldora. I thought you did an awesome job. I was so impressed that you were able to, we always talk and joke about you drag racers. You can only go straight, but, man, you've proven you can slide that thing through the corners. But tonight, I mean, sprint cars over late models, I was a little surprised. I thought maybe we'd see you in the late model.
Yeah, I thought about it. I ran a race the other night, and I love the late models, but there is nothing. Listen, the power-to-weight ratio of an outlaw sprint car like this, 1,000 horsepower, 1,400 pounds, compared to our funny car, it's 11,000 horsepower, 23 or 2,400 pounds. So there's that correlation. There's just something about the World Outlaws sprints, non-wing sprint cars. Growing up watching Thursday Night Thunder, watching you and Tony Stewart and all those guys, I just have a passion for them. So this is going to be my chance to race with the big boys.
It's going to be fun to watch you compete tonight. A huge departure from that funny car, and we can't wait to watch the action on the dirt at Charlotte. Thanks for being with us, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Good luck to you. And these drivers, are warmed up. There's Ron on the right. The left is Kyle Larson. The starting lineup and the green flag. With the sprint cars, it's next on FS1.
Human horsepower, NOS energy drink, high performance energy.
Old Trapper Beefs, tough snacks. Out here, nothing comes easy. That's why you gotta be tough. The truck, it's tough. My crew, definitely tough. But Old Trapper taught me the value of tenderness. Old Trapper, what's your beef? Oh, it's a puppy.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks healthy donors to schedule an appointment to give during this coronavirus outbreak. Patients are counting on life-saving transfusions. Visit redcrossblood.org.
NASCAR's biggest stars are firing up their simulators. The eNASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series, Sunday at 1 Eastern on FS1.
When your psoriasis is bad, it can be hard to see what's possible. But the possibilities become clear with Taltz, the first and only treatment of its kind offering a chance at 100% clear skin. With Taltz, up to 90% of those with moderate to severe psoriasis saw a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. Some even saw 100% clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. Increased risk of infections and lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about infections, symptoms, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop, worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Serious allergic reactions can occur. See the possibilities. Ask your doctor about Taltz.
For the hunting.
Make an egg roll from your egg hole.
That's really loud. Plus, Taffy Butt, I've got a yum-yum, and the soothing BM in the PM.
Shake your hips, wiggle your butt, drop your pants, and pick them back up.
Get down with Bob's Burgers. Sundays on Fox, or watch anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
You're watching Wednesday Night iRacing on FS1. Happy to have you along for the ride tonight. It's the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars up first. So let's get our diamonds in the dirt for tonight's race. Who you watching, Jeff?
Oh, I'm going number 39, Kevin Swindell, 41, David Gravel, Knoxville Nationals champion and legendary sprint car racer Sammy Swindell's son. I think these guys are going to be a major factor tonight.
Boy, really went all out there, Jeff. Yeah, imagine you picking Gravel as one of your guys. I think he's been that way for a while now. Austin McCarl, he's my boy. Been watching these qualifying races. Austin McCarl and Robbie Kendall, they've been rising to the top.
Those 4 of the 20 drivers that will be racing tonight. And let's look at that starting lineup. On the front row, some familiar names. We heard from Kyle Larson. He will be joined, starting on the pole tonight, is Rico Abreu.
Rico!
And when you look at this list of names, there are going to be some drivers that you know come from the NASCAR world. And then there are going to be some drivers that are just really good when it comes to iRacing, especially on the dirt. What do you notice here, page 1, Jeff?
Well, page 1 right there on the front row. These guys are buddies from California, Rico Abreu, Kyle Larson. If Rico can win this thing, what kind of a show is he going to put on spinning that sprint car around? Here's the second grid here. There's my boy, Kevin Swindell.
Kyle Busch.
How about Kyle Busch, man? We haven't talked anything. I can't wait to see what he's going to do in a dirt sprint car.
Busch is doing both races just like Larson. He's running both.
Got Brian Brown right here. Everybody loves him. Crowd favorite. And Brad Sweet, last year's champion. Keep an eye on them boys.
And from the back, our guy Ron Capps. I mean, as if it were going to be easy when you run a funny car on a regular basis, and now he's got to start shotgun on the field in that 28 Napa machine. We'll look forward to watching him race through tonight. So you can't do a World of Outlaws event without the voice of the Outlaws. We are so happy to have Johnny Gibson with us. Johnny, welcome to the broadcast. We will feel your energy tonight, my man.
Adam, thanks for having me here. We've had 3 iRacing Pro Invitationals, 2 for the sprint cars, 1 for the late models. Spectacular action, great finishes in all of them. We look for more of the same tonight. You wanted the best, you got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars.
Guys, I'm satisfied. That's all I wanted to hear tonight. That was awesome.
Checked all the boxes off for us, Johnny. Thank you.
You can see the track right now, guys. Obviously, some of the viewers are not going to be able to understand what's changing on this track, never watching dirt. So looking forward to that cushion getting up high and running this bottom. They're going to be all over the place.
iRacing Pace Truck has exited the speedway. Rico Abreu and Kyle Larson set to bring them to the green for 35 laps at the dirt track at Charlotte. We are underway. And they roll down the front stretch into turn number 1. A 3-car battle for the lead. Abreu jumps up in the top spot. Robbie Kendall strong on the bottom. Kendall now challenging for the lead into turn 3. He'll slide up the banking. Nearly 4 wide behind him. And on the low side of the speedway, Kevin Swindell, the move to lead the opening lap. Swindell on the point. Right behind him, Kyle Larson. A gaggle of cars trying to jockey for position as they roll into turn 3. Christopher Bell, they're sawing at the wheel on the number 21. Larson up to challenge Swindell for the lead. Robbie Kendall jumping up to the high side. Swindell right in the middle. Good traction there. 3-car battle for second now. Robbie Kendall continuing to work the cushion. Christopher Bell maybe trying to split Kyle Larson and Robbie Kendall there as they roll out of turn number 4. On board with Kyle Larson, watching him roll in the battle for the lead, looking at the low side of the speedway. And guys, how realistic is this, the view from the cockpit here on iRacing?
Johnny, this is unbelievable how realistic. I feel like I'm actually in the car with Kyle Larson. Caution flag is out.
So we're 5 laps in of 35, and we should remind everyone that the caution flag laps do count when it comes to dirt racing on the iRacing side of things. And look who's leading this race. It's that 39 of Kevin Swindell, such an unbelievable story, and he's off to a really good start here.
Well, and one thing that we were going to talk about is, you have to get a setup in this car that you create, and there's a community out there that shares different setups. A lot of these guys don't know all the intricacies of doing that, and what the other thing you notice is the track is going to start slickening up, and right now it's right around the bottom where you see guys up top making some momentum moves, and here's the accident.
Uh-oh, guys, that was one of our very own, Kyle Busch.
Oh boy.
Austin McCarl in the 17 is who hit the wall. And there's Larson running second behind Swindell.
So what I was going to say is, these setups usually are for a little bit slicker track, but tonight it's very tacky. A lot of grip here early on. Curious to see if this track changes over this 35-lap run.
One of the things that I noticed right off the bat, guys, that you can change. The only adjustment they have while they're out there is the wings. You can see the angle of the wings on the sprint cars, and that's a huge adjustment on the traction, the forward bite, if you will, as they go out through the course of this track as it slicks off.
And Clint, you can see right there, see that shininess on the straightaways, and as we go into turn 1 here, and what that means is that track, the moisture is starting to come out, just like real life, the moisture is starting to come out of the racetrack. In those areas, the tire spin and the grip level is way low compared to where the moisture's in the track.
Pace truck back into the infield. We get set to come to the green flag. When that green flag waves, we will have completed 8 of the 35 laps. Leader Kevin Swindell with the inside lane as we go back to green flag action. Swindell from the 7th starting spot, pacing the field, runs the middle of the speedway. Christopher Bell now doing battle with Kyle Larson, the race for the 2nd spot into turn 3. Swindell and Larson down low, Bell up higher on the speedway. Bell pulling even, just about even with Kyle Larson. Now looks to the inside, on board with Ron Capps trying to fight his way forward. His Napa teammate Brad Sweet right in front of him as they battle. A close call there for Ron Capps, nearly got into Wayne Johnson. We go back up front and watch Kyle Larson try to reclaim the 2nd spot. Christopher Bell has taken it away in that Bell Racing number 21, and Bell just a car length and a half behind your race leader. We've got another caution on the speedway.
Look at the two drivers, second and third right now. Bell and Larson. We're used to seeing these two go at it.
Absolutely. How many times have we seen them battle it out at the Chili Bowl?
So, Boyer, you know, we talk about a cushion in dirt racing, right? And that's where that dirt starts to roll up and build on the top lane where it's darker and than the lightness. And what that means is you can lean on it. It's a cushion of dirt that right rear tire goes up against. Haven't seen it form completely yet. You think it's going to come in?
Let's chime in with Caps. Caps, what do you got, buddy?
Man, oh man. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Why are you out of breath?
Hey, Ron, tell us, you know, have you run up high?
It's crazy. I don't want to go up high yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you been up high? Is there a cushion? Usually at Charlotte, there's not much of one. Looks like guys are all over the track.
Yeah, it's getting thin up there. I don't want to take a chance.
This is so perfect. You can see
we had Ron before the show, right? He was all talkative. Now, man, it's all business. Thanks for talking to us, buddy.
I'm going to sell the positive. 19th to 15th for an NHRA champion. I'll take it, you know?
Not too shabby.
Just about halfway through this thing, Johnny. When we go green, I think they're going to really get after it here because we're going to be right at 20 to go.
And it's going to be interesting to see if the car's handling changes as the fuel load burns off on these machines. Earlier this afternoon, Kyle Larson told us some guys gamble, maybe not as much fuel, trying to lighten the fuel load on the back of that car. And we're just about at the halfway point, so we'll see what changes here as Kevin Swindell brings us back to the green flag. The 39 car right up to the middle of the speedway. Still a lot of grip right in the middle. Kyle Larson trying to make it happen down low. Bell a little higher exit of the second corner. Christopher Bell now follows Swindell's lead to the low side in turns 3 and 4. Top 3 on the bottom of the speedway. Carson Macedo riding the cushion has worked his way up to 4th. On board with Kyle Larson, and we've got another caution on the speedway.
Third caution of the night, and on board now with Kyle Larson. It looks like you got a piece of the wall. Everything okay over there with that 57, Kyle?
I haven't touched the wall yet.
Okay.
That's how close they run to the wall, AA.
Okay. I just get nervous because I haven't raced one of these.
So that's the cushion that Jeff was talking about. That thing is going to continue to move up all the way to the wall. And what happens is it eventually gets too high. Then you'll start to see that bottom come in. And in a real life situation, that bottom is where all the moisture is. Obviously, because of the bank, as they water these racetracks on dirt, the water obviously finds itself on the bottom, and eventually that bottom will be the fastest way around 9 times out of 10 on these dirt tracks.
Hey Kyle, this track has been a little bit different maybe than what you expected. Notice you lost a position or two. Is it going to come to you?
I don't know. Hopefully if the fuel burns off any, I'll be a little bit better, but I can't run the top in these things. It's too treacherous and rough up there too. So I'm trying to make the bottom work, but Macedo's coming behind me, and I know he lives by the wall. So maybe he'll get by me here and get mixing it up with leaders. I can squeak by on the bottom somehow.
David Gravel is a driver that we're used to seeing at the front when the World of Outlaws do it for real. We're going to go on board for the restart here. How special is this, Jeff?
Hey, David, man, we're on board with you. We're going to go with you as you take this green. How's it going so far?
It was going all right. Got spun out one of those cautions. Lucky I was able to get in the pits and get this car fixed up. But all good, man. Just having fun back here. See what we can get up to.
Well, we're having a blast watching you get up there on that cushion and pass some cars, buddy.
I'm on it.
Right on board with David Gravel, Robbie Kendall to his inside, the orange and white number 55. Cars jockeying all over the place. Gravel takes the car right up to the high side of the speedway. Austin McCarroll there in front of him. Contact. McCarroll goes around Gravel into the wall and upside down as we ride on board.
It was not good, boy.
That ain't good.
David, we're on board with you, man. What was that like?
Yeah. Not what I wanted.
It looked like it was pretty wild back there on the restart.
Starting in the back. Yeah, man. Get caught up in an early wreck and try to make stuff happen, and that's sprint car racing for you.
Now, it's my understanding, David, that you guys got one reset for this race, and I'm assuming based on what you said when we first started talking to you, you had used that reset earlier. So does that mean this incident puts you out? Confirm that for me.
I think I'm pretty much done because I was on my side.
Okay.
So I have to tow now. So I got 1:45 to tow. So I don't think I'm going to make it back out, but it's all good. Looks like I beat Kyle Busch, so I did something.
Nice knowing you, buddy. We'll see you next week. Get the car fixed up.
It was an awesome ride. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
You know, we don't do radioactive when it comes to iRacing for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, but maybe we should, because I think him saying, I beat Kyle Busch, so everything's okay, would make the reel, you know?
Definitely. Hey, that's a big accomplishment, man. A lot of these guys, you know, they have a dream of making it all the way to NASCAR, even coming from dirt.
Guys, while we were riding along with gravel there, man, there was an intense battle for the lead right here, so things are shaping up for sure.
Yeah, Bell actually got by Swindell.
Yeah, and you saw, we actually were watching timing and scoring, and it went back and forth. I think Bell put a big slide job on Swindell. Swindell did a slide job back by Bell, so watch for this battle to continue.
I think the in-cars are bad luck for these guys. Maybe we shouldn't do that to these poor guys anymore.
Bell, Swindell, Macedo, Schuchart, and Larson, and we are going to have inside of 10 laps to go when we return to the green flag here, Johnny, and this is going to be really entertaining coming to the finish.
It really should be. Again, Christopher Bell taking the lead out of the 5th starting spot. Kevin Swindell led early. Macedo up to the 3rd spot. And as Kyle Larson said, he loves the top side of the racetrack. He made his progress right up against the wall. We'll see what he can make happen here with 10 laps to go for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Logan Schuchart right there in the 4th spot as we go back to the green flag. Looking back from leader Christopher Bell as he jumps up top. Kevin Swindell to his inside, rolling out of turn 2 and down the backstretch at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Logan Schuchart, the Dryden red and white 1S. Bell up on the cushion. Christopher Bell has jumped to the top of the speedway. Bell rides that thin cushion right up against the wall. Schuchart running in the 3rd spot. Macedo holding off a charge from Trent Ivey, one of the late model drivers, showing well for himself in the sprint car action tonight. The dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Action all over this 4/10 mile virtual oval as the battle for this 3rd spot heats up once again. Macedo to the inside of Schuchart. Macedo nearly taps the wall there. Schuchart sneaks to the inside. Logan Schuchart with 6 laps to go. Ron Capps battling back in the pack there with Aaron Reitzel. Capps currently in the 9th position. Looking to the inside of the speedway. There's that battle between Schuchart and Trent Ivey. Schuchart now back into the 3rd spot. Macedo, the slide job to get by Ivey there as they exit the corner. Ivey turns it back underneath him to reclaim the spot. On the move, Max McLaughlin, the NOS Energy Drink number 17. McLaughlin has worked his way into the top 5. He made some progress down low on the speedway. A glimpse of the 39 of Kevin Swindell, currently in the 2nd spot. We go back on board with Kyle Larson. In front of him, it is the 21 of Brian Brown. Aaron Reitzel, part of that mix as well. Amazing the stuff that flies back at the cockpits of these cars when they get up on that cushion. Your leader out of turn 4. 3 laps to go for Christopher Bell, and he is working traffic, has gotten by Kerry Madsen and Brad Sweet, who tangle as the leader goes by. Bell, smooth up on the top of the speedway. How good is that car in the closing stages of this one with the final lap taking place? Christopher Bell looking to claim the victory at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Out of turn 4 to the checkered flag, Christopher Bell wins at the dirt track at Charlotte with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car.
Great job calling it there, Johnny. And coming up 2nd was Kevin Swindell. Schuchart finishes in the 3rd position. Then it was Trent Ivey and Max McLaughlin rounding out the top 5. For Kyle Larson, it's career win number 22 on the dirt in iRacing. We talk to him next.
The difference between a good building and a great building is craftsmanship. It's about taking pride in the finished product. It's about being a professional. Unlike other construction companies, you work with Morton Building's craftsmen from conception to completion. From From the plant employees who roll the steel to the company driver who delivers the materials to the construction crews, every one of them are Morton employee owners who take pride in exceeding your expectations. Discover the Morton difference today at mortonbuildings.com.
At Coyote, we're going to treat you like dirt because we hold dirt in the highest regard. We're honored to find it under our fingernails, lucky to be caked in it at day's end. It keeps us humble, honest. Dirt gets taken for granted by most, but if you know us, you know getting treated like dirt means getting treated with respect. Coyote, we dig dirt.
Hey, I got you, buddy. Just like the time I got us all that unlimited data.
Oh, or like when you got us this gorgeous couch.
With unlimited comfort. You're welcome.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here at home, just like you. Meal times can be overwhelming, especially when you're trying to work, teach, and parent all at once. So let us help with KFC's $20 fill-ups. It's like a home-cooked meal you don't have to cook. Drive-thru's open or get free delivery by Grubhub.
This weekend, it's the event that's too big for just one night. WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Buy it on foxsports.com/WrestleMania. Always big. And speaking of big, Christopher Bell came up big in part one of our doubleheader tonight. It's iRacing on a Wednesday evening on FS1. And Bell, who didn't start up front, like Kyle Larson, his brother on the NASCAR/dirt side, he was able to drive through the field quite impressively and take care of business late.
Yeah, he certainly was. You know, we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, this guy is great on dirt, great behind the wheel, about everything he gets behind. But I actually just heard a stat that he's, like 50% in the win column, Christopher, when it comes to iRacing and dirt sprint cars?
Been a lot of fun, that's for sure. I've had the honor, I guess, to work with the iRacing group and help get these things going a little bit when they first released the dirt, so it's been a lot of fun to be a part of that.
Wait a minute. So you got an inside connection here?
Hey, where'd you get your setup?
You had it hooked up, buddy. Starting fifth, drove up through some big names. Kyle right here in our own studio, rolled around him and some of these other guys. Kevin Swindell up there. That was an awesome show. Tell us about just how hard it is to run that cushion, because I've been on this thing and practicing during the week. It is extremely hard to navigate these things around in that tight quarters up there.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, the 900 horsepower, whenever the track gets slick, it wants to start wallering on you going down the straightaways, and then you get to the cushion and it gets rough. So it's just about being smooth, just trying to keep that thing as straight as you can. And I'm not sure I really got over half, three-quarter throttle there those last couple laps, but just about keeping it smooth.
Hey, as we know, you're one of the busiest guys around. When it comes to racing, you'll get in anything. But no one's been busy lately because of the situation we face right now in our world with the coronavirus. What has iRacing done to fill that void for you so you have an opportunity to go out and compete on a regular basis, Kyle? Christopher, excuse me. I said Kyle.
Yeah, so it's just been really cool to see the evolution of iRacing. I mean, I've been on this thing for so long now that it was a game. It was a lot of fun for me and all my friends to get on here and race on. But now I guess it's kind of our job right now. We see the NASCAR stuff on Sundays, and now with the Outlaws coming on board and getting to run sprint cars. So it's really cool to see iRacing really capitalizing on this moment of everybody being at home, and gives us something to do, and it's really fun to be able to race against competitive drivers.
Well, outstanding job tonight, Christopher. It was fun to watch you run that 21 car, get to the front and take care of business, and we'll see you again soon, okay?
Thanks for having us. Hopefully we get to do it again.
Congrats, thanks.
So part one of our doubleheader is complete. It goes to Christopher Bell. He gets the win. Who does it in the late model side of things? We'll have that for you when we return on FS1.
Times are tough right now.
And we've still got a long road ahead.
If we all buckle in.
Put our pedals to the metal.
And do our part.
We will get through this strong.
And when the world is back on track,
You know we'll be seeing you back on track.
Your body is a machine. Protect it. Protect others.
Where we come from, everyone is family.
So order Louisiana favorites like our famous chicken sandwich at the drive-thru speaker or order ahead through our app. Then use the drive-thru for a safer and quicker contactless pickup. It's just one way our family is caring for yours.
Nothing is more important than family, especially in uncertain times. In response to the recent world events, we're taking steps to protect our family with Hyundai Assurance. When you buy or lease a new Hyundai between now and April 30th, we'll cover your payments for up to 6 months in the event you lose your job this year due to COVID-19. And for current Hyundai owners financing through Hyundai Motor Finance, we have a program to protect you too. Hyundai Assurance. Find out more at HyundaiUSA.com/assurance.
Some banks, it seems like they're going at the speed of yesteryear, but not here. This is Capital One, where you can open a new savings account in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Yeah, I'm married. Does it matter? You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Hey, do they ever ask you what you're wearing? Yeah. Red sweater, button-down shirt. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
Hold my pouch. Trust us. Us kids are ready to take things into our own hands. Don't think so? Hold my pouch.
Reese's eggs are back, and we hit them somewhere you'll never find. Psych! We put them everywhere. Grocery stores and supermarkets, gas stations, and chiropractors' offices. Bowling alleys and grocery stores, which we already mentioned. Not sorry, Reese's.
Don't forget, NASCAR Race Hub is back Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We get you caught up on the latest in the NASCAR world right here on FS1.
Time now for World of Outlaws Morton Building's late model racing from the dirt track at Charlotte. Competing tonight will be 3-time Dirt Car National Champion Bobby Pierce and the 9-time National Champion Scott Bloomquist. NASCAR star Kyle Larson will also be featured along with 2-time NHRA Funny Car World Champion Cruz Pedregon. The greatest show on dirt continues right now on FS1.
Sprint cars were great, and I know the late models will be as well. So, Larson, you had a good run going, spent a lot of time at the front there in that opening race. What did you learn on the sprint car side?
I'm still not very good around the top in those things. I got 8 up once the groove moved up. So we'll see if it'll be a little bit different here for the late model. The track seems really hooked up. So I'm going to need to get a good start here. Try not to get too tight early and be good late.
What do you expect when it comes to racing a late model? And it's a little longer, going to be 50 laps.
Yeah, longer race, so, you know, even though the track's starting out hooked up, it's going to go through an even bigger change probably at some point throughout the race. So just got to stay ahead of that. You know, these cars, too, they're a little slower than the sprint cars, so you can kind of slide through the middle and run the bottom, and there's just more lines in the late models. So I think we're in for a great race here.
All right, we look forward to it, and we'll come visit with you, okay?
Sounds good.
Let's look at that starting lineup. Who jumps out at you here, Jeff?
Well, hey, I like the guy right there on the pole, Caden Cornell. I mean, this is a kid out of Missouri, races some super late models things, but I hear he's got one heck of a win percentage, 25% wins in iRacing.
All right, boys, how about Mike McKinney right here? He's one of my picks, one of my 4. Nick Hoffman, he's a local boy right here in Morrisville. Look at this, huh? Black Sunshine. Scott Bloomquist, the bloomer, and Bobby Pierce behind him. Those are going to be 2 to keep an eye on.
And there's Cruz Pedregon. We saw him on our promotional piece coming back there. It's going to be fun, kind of like Ron Capps.
Ron
watching
Capps
him
starting
coming
in the
from
back. Cruz Pedregon can get it done in these dirt cars, too.
Yeah, and Capps got it in the top 10. Who are your picks in this race, Jeff?
Well, I already mentioned one of them with, you know, Caden Cornell and the number 50 starting on the pole. But, hey, Kyle Larson, I think he's going to do better in the late model tonight than he did in that sprint car. Watch him battle out with these guys.
Guys, I'm going with Mike McKinney. I've been watching him again. I'm sticking with these iRacing guys. I've learned my lesson through what we do each and every week on Sundays. You pick the guys that log the laps. Mike McKinney's one of them. Nick Stroop, I watched him the other night. High, wide, and handsome. He was putting on a show. Crowd pleaser for sure. Keep an eye on Nick Stroop.
So they're going 4 wide, and that means one thing. It's time for the voice of the Outlaws. Once again, here's Johnny Gibson.
Third night in America, you one of the best. You got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The most powerful late models on the planet. The world of outlaws, Morton Buildings late models.
Come on, Kyle.
I think that third inside row is a good place to start.
50 laps of green flag action. We are underway for the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Model Series. Caden Cornell from the pole out to the early lead. Stroop down on the inside of the speedway. Kyle Larson caught in the middle, loses a couple of spots there. Battle for the second spot. He got Matty Watkins now trying to make something happen. The 88 Trent Ivy, big progress on the opening lap, works his way into the 4th spot. Racing for the lead. Caden Cornell in the middle. Nick Stroop to his inside, to the outside. Matty Watkins, a 4-car battle, 3 wide for the lead. Cornell a little sideways there. Inside the 88 of Trent Ivy looking for the lead. He'll slide up in front of Stroop to take command. Stroop turns it hard to the left, trying to come right back underneath him. And a 3-car battle with contact, heavy contact out of turn number 2. Cars sideways, we'll see if we stay green. They cross the start-finish line. We watch Scott Bloomquist trying to work his way forward, and Bush is down there as well in the 51 car. Caution is out for the incident we saw earlier. A little bit of a tap to the back bumper there on Kyle Busch's 51.
Payback right there. See that? Carson Macedo, he didn't like what he had going on. Paid him back on a caution. You ever seen anything like that, Jeff?
Is there any place I can go run to hide?
I mean, the two of you have seen things like that on track, you know?
Well, I kind of wish that had been iRacing.
Did you know, one of the things that I saw right here is Kyle Larson. I can't imagine you going from that sprint car, those things with the wing on it, and trying to adapt. Ladies and gentlemen, no practice, no nothing, no warm-up, just cold turkey, jumping right back into late model and going. How'd that maybe feel as you drove off into the first corner?
I just wanted to make sure I got it turned into turn 1, and probably drove in a little too deep and gotten to the side of the guy in front of me and lost some track position, but we were able to get back by a couple guys, so still 5th. Track's already changing quite a bit, so not really sure where to run yet. These leaders are racing pretty hard in front of me too, so we'll see.
Hey, don't let Boyer give you a hard time, man. You're doing a heck of a lot better than he does in that rig on Sundays.
I'm telling you, it's hard when you got like that sprint car race. Johnny Gibson was going crazy in my ear, and I'm like, already stressed out. So
See, Jeff,
he just
I
adds
told
to the stress.
Sensory overload in that seat. It is tough. I will say this. Speaking of tough, did you see how tough these late models were? You beating and banging, door banging. Did you see that, Jeff? Hitting a wall. They're still around, still racing.
I mean, I will say that's what I love so much about the late models. It is a different type of racing. You got, like Kyle said, multiple different lanes, but you can lean on one another.
So the pace truck pulls back into the infield, and we get set to go back to green. 7 laps complete as they cross the start-finish line. Nick Stroop leading it, jumps down to the low side of the speedway, battle for the second spot between Caden Cornell and Trent Ivy. Cornell going to try to slide up in front of Ivy, but Ivy's got the momentum in that black and yellow number 88. Further back in the field, some contact there. There's Kyle Larson right here in the Fox studio in his sim rig, battling down the back straightaway. To his inside, that's Ashton Winger in the number 12 car. Behind them, Logan Seavey in the late model tonight after winning the initial iRacing Pro Series Sprint Car event. Seavey right in the middle there. Battle for the lead out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway to the inside. Trent Ivy slide job not successful there. Momentum belongs to Nick Stroop, and he maintains the race lead. Stroop in the 45. Right rear quarter panel, brushing against the wall, taking the lead. Trent Ivy. Caution flag comes out, however.
Second caution of the night. We're 11 laps into this late model feature. You know who's been impressive? Nick Stroop. And we've seen that in all of these iRacing events throughout the week.
Don't give Boyer any more credit.
Oh, yeah,
Come
that
on
is
now.
my guy, isn't it, boys? Yeah, I forgot about that.
Hey, that was a heck of a battle, though, between him and Ivy. I mean, that slide job that Ivy did on Stroop was pretty impressive. And the fact that Stroop was able to turn down underneath them and almost make the pass back. And, you know, by the way, I know what you've been doing. You've been looking at the stats because Stroop has won 2 of his last 4 iRaces.
You know, actually, what I've been looking at, Jeff, is the track itself. It's really moving around, as Kyle alluded to a little bit ago, and that's what's lending to these slide jobs and this atmosphere in this race. It's only going to get better.
What do you see here, Clint?
See black sunshine on the bottom, man. I've watched this old cat win a lot of races. And
One was one to go
now I see a
low.
caution.
Yeah. See, that was Cruz Pedregon. Looked like he went from the top to the bottom.
Looked like he still had 11,000 horsepower underneath of him.
So we had the World of Outlaw sprint cars, and now it's the World of Outlaw Morton Buildings late models from the virtual dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Under caution, 13 laps down in this one. Let's send it back to Johnny Gibson.
So the iRacing pace truck continuing to lead the field. Ivy, Stroop, running single file formation. And guys, you see them kind of turning the wheel there, moving the cars back and forth. What are they trying to do to these cars under caution? Get the tires cleaned off?
Well, in real life, you're trying to keep some temperature in them. I don't know what you do in virtual life, but, you know, you see the big boys do it, you know, kind of monkey see, monkey do in the racing world. That's what they're doing.
One thing I see, Clint, is just how fast the track changes with these late models, how much they just pull the moisture out of the racetrack, and it just starts to get slick right away from the bottom to the top.
The other thing I see is look at the difference in the setups. Look at Kyle Larson's nose completely slammed down on the ground where some of these other cars are up a little bit. Definitely changes in the setups of these cars.
A little bit of a wiggle there as they come back to the green flag. Trent Ivy, the leader, in the yellow and red number 88 on the top of the speedway. Caden Cornell trying to make it happen down low. He rides third currently. Stroop to the inside, looking for the lead from Ivy. Can't quite get the job done there. 3 wide further back in the pack. Nick Hoffman in the 2. Part of that action as well was the 0 Scott Bloomquist. Now Kyle Larson, he couldn't do the top in the sprint car, but he sure can in the late model. Puts it right up against the wall in 3 and 4, back down to the bottom in 1 and 2. Slide job from Kyle Larson, trying to take the spot from Matty Watkins. Chase Briscoe in front of this group of cars. They go 4 wide right behind him. Late models 4 wide at the dirt track at Charlotte. Intense action all over the place. That's Hoffman again, getting into Briscoe. A little bit of contact there. The 96 of Mike McKinney behind them. They stack up, one car headed to the wall.
I'd say
headed
to the ambulance is where he's headed.
That is over. That car was destroyed and upside down. You don't see these late models get upside down too often.
Not very often. Very wide cars, you know, and when they do, it's very dangerous. Obviously, not a lot of room in the roll cages in the greenhouse, so to speak. But, man, what great racing. This track is putting on a super show. Again, I was talking about the setups and the difference in the setups. This is where you're starting to think about halfway. The setups are going to make a difference. The way these guys are driving and adjusting throughout their setups to make out, you know, the course of this 50-lap race. This is going to be separating the men from the boys pretty quick.
Closing on halfway, and caution flag laps do count, as you probably noticed here when we do this in iRacing. And Clint, I'm thinking 3 cautions early. So much about this is finding a rhythm. What kind of a challenge does that create for all these drivers, the early cautions?
Well, I can tell you, definitely a challenge as far as the cautions coming, but that's no different than any other race. The guys getting in the rhythm are these guys out here in the clean air.
We'll step aside and come back with the green flag on FS1. Thanks for being here.
Old Trapper Beefs, fancy flavors.
Hey, want a snack?
What is that, rhubarb?
I trusted you.
Oh, much better.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
WrestleMania.
There aren't many books written about how to raise 3 genius kids. Actually, there are. They're just super long.
Jason Biggs and Maggie Lawson are outnumbered.
Go take us home.
English.
But small words.
Outsmarted.
People my own age, all they do is make penis jokes and Rick and Morty references.
God, people his age sound awesome.
And laugh out loud fun.
Maybe we just did everything wrong.
We nurtured their gifts.
Man, that was dumb.
Outmatched. Thursdays on Fox, or watch anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
I can overcome any challenge.
Murder really does follow you everywhere.
Watch the Fall's #1 new show anytime on demand.
How can I help? You have no idea what you did to me. My boy, I made you. You destroyed me. Your family is your fatal flaw. Might as well go out with a bang.
Prodigal Son, Mondays at 9, or watch anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
Sunday, the NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series continues with some virtual short track racing from Bristol. It happens at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see it on Fox, FS1, or the Fox Sports app. And announced earlier today, Fox Sports analyst and WrestleMania host Rob Gronkowski and WWE superstar Mojo Rawley will deliver the command on Sunday. That gives you guys something to look forward to, you know?
The Gronk is going to call WWE. I love it.
I'd like to see him get behind the wheel of one of these late models, Clint. What do you think?
You know, I had such a good time at the banquet meeting Sheamus. He is such a cool guy. Huge, Jeff. I'm talking, this guy is massive. And a big race fan. Actually did, I think he drove the pace car. Actually, I know he did. He one of these races that we had, he drove the pace car.
I love the idea, though, Adam. We're going to get one of us, a normal person that doesn't iRace, like maybe you,
okay,
Adam.
I've been nominated.
Behind the wheel of one of these things next week and show how difficult it really is.
Halfway home in the late model feature, and we're going green next time by, Johnny.
Trent Ivy on the inside of the front row leads the field back to green. Nick Stroop got a good start on the outside of the speedway. Ivy leading them down the front stretch as you look over the shoulder of Kyle Larson, currently battling for the 4th spot, challenged on the inside by Caden Cornell. Cornell up in front of Larson as they work into turn 3. Chase Briscoe making moves. A little bit of contact there with Larson as they go side by side for 4th. Give it to Briscoe as they cross the start finish line. Pardon me, that's Corey Gordon, my mistake. Corey Gordon in the yellow and black number 5. Trent Ivy continuing to lead it, tosses the car hard into turn 1. Enters on the low side, exits on the top of the speedway. Back again to Corey Gordon, making it happen on the top of the racetrack. Right behind him, Kyle Larson, a quick glimpse of the nose of the 57 machine. The number 1 car, right behind that number 1 car, contact and a couple of cars into the wall. We'll see if we stay green. That number 1 was Logan Seavey, an iRacing winner in the sprint car division last week. On board with Kyle Larson, sawing the wheel in the 57 car. Damage to the car right in front of him. These things take a licking and keep on ticking, do they not, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. What a great view right there. I've been in these cars. I've been practicing a little bit. This is extremely hard, especially these cars that you see running high. But honestly, Jeff, I've seen a lot of patience out of Kyle Larson right now.
I was going to say, Kyle Larson might get payback here. Oh, big wreck.
That's
my guy. No!
Oh, he kept on going.
And the caution is out. That's number 4 with 19 to go. What happened to Stroop, Clint?
Oh, man. He was my guy.
I think he went for a big slide job, and it went all the way to the wall.
I'm jumping on your wagon. I think our in-house guy, Kyle Larson, is nailing it right now. He's been showing a tremendous amount of patience. He knows how to get to these the end of these long races. He's still in this thing, boys. He could do it.
I thought it was getting ready to get big with him and Corey Gordon, because Corey Gordon laid all over Larson to make that pass.
Well, it got big, all right. Got big right here.
Yeah, it looked like he just got in really high. Stroop just got in high, kind of clipped the wall, and then nowhere to go for Trent Ivy.
Tell you what, that thing rebounded back on its feet fast, about like a cat.
Hey, you know, 2 guys I'm watching up in the top 5 haven't said a lot about Mike McKinney tonight. We mentioned off the top that he won earlier in the week. And Logan Seavey, that Johnny just talked about, is right back in the mix. 2 guys that understand winning on iRacing and having good nights here in the late model feature.
And I love it, you know, like guys like Logan Seavey, these are open wheel guys, and we talked about Kyle Larson loving driving these late models. Seeing these guys have the opportunity to get behind the wheel, something different here in iRacing, very cool to watch.
Closing in on 9 o'clock in the East, and if you tuned into FS1 for Fox Football Now, and the interview with Saints head coach Sean Payton, Jay Glazier coming your way when we finish with our Wednesday night iRacing on FS1. First time we've done this, but boy, has it been entertaining. Christopher Bell won the sprint car race earlier tonight, and now it's the late models, 15 to go. Johnny Gibson.
So Trent Ivy from the inside of the front row to bring the field back to green. Caden Cornell, 2nd place finisher in the inaugural iRacing Pro Invitational for the late models on Monday night. Right there behind him, field rolls through turns 1 and 2, and they scatter all over the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Behind your race leader, Ivy, a cart into the wall going into turn 3. We stay green for the moment. Nearly 4 wide in turn 4, and all of this allowing Trent Ivy to get away as Larson throws the slider on Cornell. Can't make it work there. Cornell holds on to the 2nd spot. Young Money in the 3rd position. Kyle Larson good right in the middle, late in the going on this one. We'll have 14 to go as they cross the start-finish line. Watching the battle for 2nd, the white number 50 is Caden Cornell. He holds that 2nd position. Kyle Larson, the 57 machine, in the 3rd spot. For the back of the field, Robbie Pierce in the 32. He is battling with Mike Mahaney, the big block modified driver from New York. That is a battle for the 7th spot. We go back to the front of the speedway. Mike McKinney now closing in on Larson. They're nose to tail as they roll into turn 3. Larson enters low, slides up the racetrack. McKinney falls back by about a quarter and a half. Kyle Larson taps the wall. There's the opening for the NOS Energy Drink 96. McKinney to the inside. Larson back underneath him. They crisscross, battling for 3rd. Mike McKinney, the 96. Kyle Larson, another slide job to take 3rd. Again, McKinney tries to come back to the inside. They'll go side by side into turns 3 and 4. Slide job this time by Mike McKinney. Kyle Larson says, I saw you do it. I can do it as well. He crosses back underneath him. On board board with Mike McKinney riding the top of the speedway. Directly to his left, the 57 of Kyle Larson. This is the battle for the third spot with less than 10 laps to go for the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings late models at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on iRacing and Fox Sports 1. Here is Larson to the inside of McKinney, but not enough room to even try the slide job there. Corey Gordon not out of this one yet. He trails Larson. Both drivers ride the top in turns 1 and 2. Top lane seems to be the fastest way around right now. Kyle Larson going to try to make something happen on the bottom. Guys, do you think there's anything left on the bottom, or is this a top dominant track in the closing stages?
Well, I'm not seeing much on the top or the bottom right now. It's just everything you can do to stay off the wall, Clint.
What I'm seeing is patience running out. Our guy in the studio over there, Kyle Larson, he started going for it, got in the wall a little bit, got near as bad as these two, though.
Couple of cars tangling, rolling into the infield. Laps wind down. There will be 6 to go. Kyle Larson on the top, still running in the 4th position. Corey Gordon right behind him in 5th. The race for the 2nd spot maybe heating up. Caden Cornell with Mike McKinney and Kyle Larson. Slower car on the inside of the speedway. Lap traffic a factor as there are 5 to go at the dirt track at Charlotte. Scott Bloomquist, unusual for him, a lap down. Black sunshine on the inside of the speedway, staying out everyone's way. Larson robs the wall in turns 1 and 2. Kyle Larson back right up to the high side of the speedway in 3 and 4. Larson again running in that 4th position. Corey Gordon runs in the 5th spot, but this is Trent Ivey. He's got a 1.7 second advantage in that yellow and black number 88. He'll come down for 2 to go. We look over the shoulder of Kyle Larson. You see the car on the box to your left. Larson's view from the cockpit, the box on the right. Just a couple more to go for the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings late models at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Final lap for Trent Ivey. Looking good out of turn 2 down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Trent Ivey will take the checkered flag for the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings late models.
How about the dominant night for the 25-year-old out of Union, South Carolina? Trent Ivey gets it done. And for him, it's his 14th iRacing win in his 32nd dirt track start. We have post-race coverage when we continue on FS1.
Human horsepower, NOS energy drink, high performance energy.
The difference between a clean tractor and a dirty one can be found in the heart of the person who holds the key. Coyote, we dig dirt.
You can cut a deal. You can cut cake. You can cut a rug. But you don't cut corners. And neither do we. That's why you look so good cutting that deal in that suit. Joseph A. Bank. Cut no corners.
We're off to a good start from left bead, but right bead is cutting him off now. Left bead is making a bit of contact. Oh, we've got a double bead going for the inside line. The left bead into first place. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Taco Bell is delivering. Get free delivery on orders of $12 or more. Only on Grubhub.
Wednesday night iRacing on FS1 is all wrapped up. Coming up next, Jay Glazier hosts a new installment of Fox Football Now with guests Tyron Matthew, Nate Boyer, and Saints head coach Sean Payton, who is now recovered after testing positive for the coronavirus.
You still have to get prepared for the draft coming up in a few weeks. I think you guys start your draft meetings this week, right? So what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so I'll take you through it real quick. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 we start. We're not at our facility.
That interview is next, and we'll look forward to hearing from head coach Sean Payton as he gets ready for the season ahead. And, of course, as you look at tonight's racing, it was outstanding. Christopher Bell wins on the sprint car side, and here's Trent Ivey getting his 14th iRacing win. And this late model competition was incredible tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because, listen, the bodies and the aerodynamics mean a lot to these cars. When you're laying it up on the top side and you're rubbing up against the wall, you're losing some performance. So, Trent, awesome job. Congratulations, man. You showed these guys how to just run it right on the fence.
Yeah, thank you, man. I really get a kick out of playing this game. I know it's not the real thing, and it never will be, but, man, I'm shook up. I can't believe it.
Well, Trent, I think you nailed it right there. Anytime you're shook up in the car, we heard Ron Capps. He was out of breath tonight. We got to watch, our very own Kyle Larson in the studio tonight do this. For me, firsthand, I've been in a simulator. I've ran this racetrack. I've tried to put it up there on the wall like you did lap after lap for 50 laps and accomplish this. You did a great job, man. Hats off.
Yeah, thank you, man. I was racing Monday night and my computer blowed up coming to green. I was on the outside pole with McKinney, so I feel like this one owed me. So I had a good time in the sprint cars to finish fourth. That's a good time. So man, I'm super excited. I can't believe it.
You could have engine failures in this too, guys. His computer blew up.
Hey, Trent, great job, and thanks for being with us, man. All right.
Yep, thank you, guys.
And now we bring in Kyle Larson, who did double duty tonight. I think you were sixth in the sprint car, fourth here in the late model race. Pretty good night for you, Kyle.
Not bad, not bad. If we were racing for points, I'd take that, but we're not. So I want to get those wins. But I had a blast. Thank you guys for letting me come by the studio. Hopefully we can do it again. I'm thinking maybe next time, as my heart rate is finally starting to calm down, maybe I should bring my heart rate monitor and
let's do that.
Show these guys how stressful this game can be.
Oh, man, they were leaning all over you. It was fun to watch. Slide jobs going back and forth, man. It's so cool to have you in the studio. Thanks a lot. Sorry if we were interrupting your concentration there the whole time.
Yeah, we might. If I do come back, we're going to have to figure out some other way to do this. It was hard. It was the toughest thing I've done on iRacing for sure, is not being able to hear your car and hear the announcers. It was wild.
Well, if you do figure it out, let me know. I went in on the secret for Sundays because it is a challenge.
Hey, make sure and put all those settings back for Boyer, okay?
Yes!
I'm headed out. I've been on iRacing all day. I'm ready to go to bed.
Hey, and Johnny Gibson here, the voice of the Outlaws. It was so special to have you calling these races, Johnny.
Guys, it was so much fun to be a part of this, and I think we showed a lot of people tonight what dirt track racing is all about and why the World of Outlaws, both the NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars and the Morton Buildings late models, are the greatest shows on dirt.
Hey, Johnny, dirt fans, World of Outlaw fans everywhere, we're so happy to see you and hear your voice on this broadcast. It would not have been the same. It wouldn't have been a true World of Outlaw dirt race without you being here. You did an amazing job. Go catch your breath, my friend. Wow.
Guys, thanks again. This was fun, and I hope we get to do it again.
Clint, Jeff, your final thoughts tonight, our first night on the dirt.
Well, I love dirt racing. You know, short tracks and grassroots racing are so important. And it's just cool to give these guys some airtime and see this type of racing on Fox Sports 1. I loved it. Seeing the track change, sliding it sideways, banging off the wall, slide jobs. I don't know. It just doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, as a dirt owner and coming from dirt and my background and my roots, I just appreciate the opportunity for this sport, right? This is huge for dirt racing. This is a good opportunity for everybody involved and a lot of fun for a fan. Being a fan of dirt late model racing, I had a blast watching these guys obviously being in that simulator, knowing firsthand what they've done, the sprint cars, great racing all the way around.
And we'll see you guys again on Sunday when we go NASCAR iRacing. The two winners here tonight. Race 1, sprint cars, goes to Christopher Bell. No surprise there. We know how talented he is when it comes to racing on dirt. And we just talked to him. Your late model winner is Trent Ivey. I would say the first evening of Wednesday night iRacing on FS1 was a true success. Don't forget on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, the NASCAR guys are back at it on iRacing. And coming up next, it's Fox Football Now. So long, everybody. I'm Adam Alexander. We'll see you next time.